Today we're here with Emanuele, one of our students who got pretty good results, and we're going to ask him a bunch of questions about his experience, what he did like, what he didn't like, and of course, tips he has in order for you to succeed with YouTube automation, because it is a real business model in which you can make pretty good money uploading videos to YouTube without ever having to show your face. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. Emanuele, welcome.
Hey, Warner. Thank you for having me here. I'm very excited to share my experience and kind of a couple of tips, hopefully, for new people who are going to join us.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. And yeah, so tell us a little bit about who you are. What is the reason you decided to join? And yeah, would love to hear it.
Yeah, definitely. So, hey, everyone, I'm Emanuele. I'm a 24-year-old guy. And when I joined the Warner's course, I had already been kind of playing around with YouTube automation for a couple of months, but it was very kind of baby steps, I would like to call it. I was basically doing everything by myself, all the videos, and it was more of a testing period. Before that, I was working as a project manager. I did that for a couple of years. So I was already like into working remote, earning online, and so on. But I really wanted to switch to an actual business and not just a job. So yeah, the plan, I discovered YouTube automation a year ago, roughly. I eventually saved up, quit my job, and had enough play money to start testing some channels. And so, yeah, I just played around by myself. But then when I kind of learned of the opportunity of joining a one-to-one coaching, because I was already committed, I had just quit my job and I was all in already. So it
Yeah.
only made sense to get a coaching program. And looking back, it was definitely the right decision because right now I have a lot of momentum that I'm definitely committed on using very well.
Yeah, it's a very good introduction, and I think it's also very accurate. You are also one of the people I can genuinely say you went all in. A lot of people say like, "Hey, I want to go all in," but when they join, they actually don't go all in. They're still holding back. But I have seen you in every single group session that I have given since the moment you have joined. So already that's like every time I see you on a call, it's like, "Hey, Emanuele, you're back here again." Like you get to recognize the people that show up every single week to just learn new things. And it's absolutely fantastic. And I think you've done a great job. So can you tell me, because you already started like a channel just before joining the one-on-one coaching, right?
Yeah, I actually had a couple of monetized channels, and that was already one of the reasons why I wanted coaching. I had these two monetized channels, but they weren't really super straightforward, faceless channels. Like they were, one was built around kind of a passion of mine using a viral format. The other, I had some very big doubts about monetization because I had a non-US audience, and I was like, how does this work? And so already one of the reasons why I joined was learning how to do with my channels. And that's something you only get on a one-to-one program because usually you don't show your channels out there, even if you have maybe a Discord or something. So yeah, I had those two channels uh, making roughly 1K together, $1,000 a month.
Perfect. And how much are you making now?
This month I closed at 7.5.
That's
And
amazing.
yeah, it was a great month. And the big one thing I want to specify, 1K a month doing all the videos myself, but now instead all the videos are done by a team. So I have a lot more time to scale up because
Yeah.
I was already pretty much at capacity with doing the videos myself back then.
And now you got a lot more freedom. So now you got financial freedom, but also time freedom, which is like something people like to say for marketing, of course, but it's generally true for your case.
Yeah, definitely. And the one thing I love about YouTube automation is that you can decide what to do with that time. You can like, use it for your free time, but you can also just say, I have more hours. I'm going to commit even more. I'm going to double down and
Yeah.
just open more channels, which is the direction that I'm going right now. So
Yeah. And with the format that you're doing, it's so easy to just replicate it and replicate it and replicate it and really build like this huge media company from it. And for sure, with you're doing a little bit of like what we call higher quality YouTube automation. It's not just your basic $40 videos. Like how much are you spending right now for your like drawing videos? I'll keep it at that for you. How much is that?
yeah, on average, $100 per video.
Yeah,
Can be more if it's a longer video, like an half an hour
of
video,
course.
but yeah, roughly $100.
$100 gets you 20 minutes or gets you how long in average?
On average, like 15 minutes. I have a
15 views.
team, usually it's a scriptwriter and a video editor. They work in teams of two. Right now I have two teams. So yeah,
Yeah.
usually they make a couple of videos a week per team. And now I'm planning to expand to four teams to make that
Yeah.
big jump.
Yeah, 100%. And also, one of the reasons I wanted to get you on is because normally when people think of YouTube automation, most of the money actually comes through AdSense. But you also had your first brand deal. How was that experience like?
Well, it was great, first of all, because it was an extra earning revenue, but it was so fun on many levels because, well, I'm gonna say it was a game in this case. It was a mobile game. It's a very common kind of
Raid Shadow Legends?
very similar.
Okay.
And basically one thing that was very surreal, for example, is that this game is not like it's very popular game. One of my friends actually plays this and was so shocked when I told him like, yeah, they're sponsoring me. Like, it
Oh my
just kind
God.
of feels you almost go like behind the curtain, like in the backstage of YouTube. But yeah, I had this sponsor that basically reached out to me because my channel was very aligned to them, and we just worked it out and got a CPM deal. And at the end of the day, it was an extra $1,000 on a video that I didn't have to do an extra video for them. It just
Yeah.
was one of my videos that was going to go out anyway.
Yeah, but that's what we call an ad insertion. So they did an ad in the middle of the video, or probably after 1 or 2 minutes, I assume.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then what was the CPM you got? $10?
It was $12.5 and
$12.5. Amazing.
capped at 75K views. We reached it like in a weekend.
Yeah,
And
it was a good 1 out of 10. I remember that screenshot showing up in the Discord.
yeah. And yeah, we reached it right away. So it was a very nice experience maxing out the sponsorship.
Yeah, and I also think it's a very important one for the people that are watching is that when you do ads, as in a sponsor deal, you have to think about one thing in specific, and that is that the CPM in this case is the actual RPM. How come? For YouTube automation, when you get the CPM, that's before YouTube takes their cut. And also, it doesn't indicate people that are actually paid that are like not serving ads. And with RPM on YouTube, that's the actual money you get. But whenever you get a brand deal, you actually get paid a CPM, which in this case is the equivalent to YouTube's RPM, because you get paid directly, in this case, $12.5 or euros. I don't know which one was it.
US dollars.
Dollars. So $12.5 per 1,000 views on top of your AdSense. So that makes, of course, the brand deals very much worth it. And an extra 1K for a video. If you're spending $100 for a video, you got a 10x ROI without ever having to even pretty much. Well, it's just a CPM ad, so you have to actually get views on the video in order to make the money extra. But that's an amazing extra income. So I'm happy to hear that. And then you were also getting coached by Menow. What are like the key lessons you got from that you could take away from it?
Yeah, so Meno is basically an amazing coach. I feel like the experience with him was great, and I would say things that he really left me was, first of all, how his mindset of scaling up and building teams, I think, is top tier. He really pushed me to go fast and
Yeah.
commit hard, which was one of the reasons why I joined. Like I told him very explicitly that I tend to have maybe some analysis paralysis, and so he customized my program around pushing me and to kind of break that. And one
Yeah.
of my issues was hiring people. I never hired anyone before this, so I was making everything myself. So he also pushed me very hard in that direction, and he immediately jumped me to hire full-time people, which for me was shocking. Like I didn't think about it. For me, YouTube automation was you maybe build a relationship with a freelancer, but you just pay them per video. And instead, it
Yeah.
was like hire the team full-time. And now it seems super obvious to me, but
Yeah.
it's actually a huge hack to have someone full-time for you because you just maximize volume and so on. So that was hiring team and how to manage the team was probably the biggest takeaway, but also the approach to niches and discarding bad niches very quickly, something that I've learned from him that before I didn't have, and I actually made that big mistake with one of my monetized channels before I joined, which was very low RPM. I would never make that mistake again now
Yeah.
because I would immediately realize.
Wasn't that the South African channel out of my head?
Yeah, exactly. It was a South African niche. I somehow thought that South Africa had way higher RPM than the rest of Africa. That was not the case. So basically, I put a lot of work into a channel that can monetize, and when I got the RPM, it was less than 20 cents.
Yeah, I remember 13 cents or so.
Yeah, yeah, around that.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. I didn't even know that that's possible. That's like lower than Indonesia. That's lower than India. Like I would be surprised about that one. So no, Menow is a great guy, and also what I find very important, of course, for the coaching company in this case, is that we custom look at like what does a person actually need. So there's always multiple things. So when we started off, we also did like a one-on-one kickoff call. You and me, we hopped in a call, and then we also asked you like, hey, listen, how hard can we be? That's always a question that we ask. So if we can be very direct or not, so simply saying if it's a 1 out of 10, I have to be very polite and make sure that my messages are very explanatory. If it's like a 7, then I can just be very direct. I can just tell you, hey, your video is shit. And if it's 10, I can curse at you. That's always pretty much the sort of the skill that I give to people when they join. And then also it's like, it depends on your budget. So some people have, as an example, like a big pile of investment that they have ready. So someone might have an inheritance, which is $20,000 that they now want to use it to something where they can achieve long-term freedom. So that, of course, makes it very interesting for them to say, like, hey, listen, I want to be more aggressive. And in this case, for you, it was also like, hey, we're going to be aggressive. Then we need full-time employees. And that's also a cheat code that indeed like nobody really talks about here in the industry. It's because online jobs at PH gives you so many good qualified editors and people for sure. And that's really important when you have the right SOPs in place, your standard operating procedures, where they can just follow a guideline and you reduce the amount of mistakes they make in the beginning. So they learn fast, they have good quality. And if you hire people for like, what are you hiring per hour right now? 3.5 to 5, I assume?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
because it's roughly 600 a month. So that's
Yeah,
the
then you're
rate,
gonna get
and
to
it's
three and a
full
half.
time.
Yeah, so that's absolutely insane. So people think like when they spend money, they spend like $50 on an editor. For sure, for like the style videos that you're doing as well. Like they spend $50 on an editor or $100 on the editor. But the problem is that you're not their only client. You are just one of the people they work for. And for sure, when you have an agency, you easily pay normally 30 to 40, 50% extra on the actual value that other people get the freelancers from. So you pay a really high premium. So that's of course also something that we want to avoid, if that makes sense. And the main goal, of course, in this case was for you to hire the people full time, get as much editing power, and get as much team power to then, of course, start scaling up. So now it was 2 channels, and then it became 4 channels. How many channels are you running in total right now?
Right now it's 4, and that's
Four
the
channels.
what makes me very optimistic because my current result of 7K plus this month, it's only on 2 channels. It's only two
Yeah.
channels monetized. I have two, basically only half of my output power is monetized right now.
Yeah.
The moment everything is monetized, the profit can be very sizable.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm also scaling up because with an 8 people team, I can run 8 channels and stuff gets monetized there. Like I don't want to, with all this momentum I have right now, I don't want to sit here and wait maybe 1 or 2 channels, see if YouTube picks them up. The more channels I have, the more channels are going to get picked up eventually. And I just can leverage this profit margin that I have built using pretty much always the same format in my case.
Yeah, 100%. And you could even spin off a little bit from your format into other sort of drawing videos. So the niche is not only capped at that. If it works, you can literally replicate it in a slightly different style and get the results again. There's of course like one of the 3 ways you win with YouTube automation is longer watch time, new introduction, or of course just better general video in the community. So as long as you have one of these 3 things, then there's a really high chance you're going to win. As an example, you have a guy, I forgot his name, I think it's Vection, but I'm not 100% sure who's the owner of it. But he has like a history channel, but then you have like all sort of balls explaining everything. That's a very unique way of introducing it because some people do it with stock footage. And then, of course, you had the whole trend of like boring history, but also Sleepwise was a very big YouTube automation channel. And you could take that concept and then bring it into history, bring it into another sort of niche that doesn't have this type of content already. Same as an example, medievals exploded. And out of medievals, also Egyptian history exploded, but also what is it? Viking history also exploded. So now from one niche, you can bring it into another using some sort of concept and bringing it close, also known as close versus far niching, of course. So yeah, that's very interesting. And what would you say is your biggest takeaway from the one-on-one coaching that you got from Menow?
Well, aside from the team that I already explained, one of the biggest kind of breakthrough that I realized was on one of the calls, he really explained to me, we were basically brainstorming niches and topics, and he explained to me the concept of basically creating for an audience rather than building around the channels, and how YouTube works around audiences rather than push your channel. They find videos for the audience. And so this concept that it's all about the audiences. And I remember I kind of understood it on the call, kind of. And then I thought about it in the coming days, and I literally was like at night and I was just walking around my room. I was just because I realized what it meant, and it kind of changed everything, how you think about it. Because you really, I feel like this is a mistake so many people make. They try to build their channel and expect YouTube to build an audience for them, but it's actually the opposite. You need to have an audience, you need to find them. And if it's not there, you're not building anything. Like it's
Yeah.
you that need to fit them. And that really helped me understand. And now this is why I'm so confident expanding, because I just need to find an audience and then build a channel for them rather than try to guess
Yeah.
stuff that's gonna work.
Well, it's like you either do something that works and you take a slide bet, or you're just gonna go to the casino and YOLO it. You know, if you're gonna go at a random audience and hope it just hits, then it's probably not going to hit. And if you know, like, hey, listen, this works somewhere else, let me try it here. At least you have some data and you have some proof. And as long as you have that, like you say, like you don't want to search for the audience, you want YouTube to give the audience to you, and you only do that by providing what YouTube actually searches for. Same as any business model, it's like demand and supply. You know, if Diddy stuff is trending, then you can post so many videos about it because the demand, of course, is so high, but the supply is too low. So your views get pushed very quickly, even if your video quality sucks. So, of course, that makes a very interesting concept as well. I also had another question that I wrote down here, and that would be, how did you actually find me in this case? Did you find me on Twitter, Instagram? How did you get in contact with me, and how was that experience like?
Yeah, so I found you on Twitter. You're very active there. I saw you sharing some niches and also kind of addressing kind of tips and things going on in the YouTube space. And when I found you and I started following you actively, you had just launched kind of a entry-level program. And so I joined there. It was kind of a course with lessons. And basically, I'm very impulsive at times. So by the time I finished the videos and I saw kind of your style and your content, I already knew I wanted more. I wanted either the bigger course or the one-on-one coaching. And in one of the final lessons, I think you talked about this chance of having one-on-one coaching, which was exactly what I was looking for at that time. And so, yeah, that's how I jumped on.
Awesome. That's great to hear. And yeah, Twitter is an amazing platform. I would pretty much suggest everyone to follow me on Twitter because Twitter, like, it doesn't penalize you when you post a lot. And that makes Twitter a very safe space. And I think every single person, I actually saw this video about Alex Homozy doing content strategy. And they always say, like, they test everything on Twitter and on TikTok. And they post the same video with slightly different captions or slightly different changes to TikTok, and then they take the best performing video because maybe one caption got the attention for longer. Maybe the hook text that you could put somewhere would get more engagement. So of course that makes it very interesting. And on Twitter, like I can post 18 times a day. And out of the 2, 3 posts that do well, I can build an audience around it. I can double down on what works. And that's also why I always ask people like, what is number one? Where do you found me? What is the reason you joined? So for you, the reason you joined was like you wanted expertise, you were struggling with one niche, you weren't sure if it worked or not, you saw the videos and you were like, hey, listen, I need to get one-on-one guidance in order to make sure that I also avoid problems and of course have more scalability. So pretty much if I understand correctly, you went from 1,000 a month to 7,000 plus a month during the coaching.
Yeah, exactly. With two channels
Yeah,
monetized right now. So we
amazing.
built
That's
one of
amazing.
the channels was built entirely inside of the coaching from scratch.
Amazing. So, and I would indeed like you have to consistently pick up momentum, expand that. And then, of course, in this case, for you also, brand relationships are very important to start building that. Maybe reach out to multiple mobile games you could promote and get, of course, that consistent 1K hitting the pocket. If you can do that 2 or 3 times a week, that's your easiest way to go ahead and hit that 5-figure mark. I'd probably give it. I think before the end of the year, you're probably going to hit a 15 or maybe $20,000 month for sure. If you get good brand deals towards Q4, really important to keep track of your relationship. So one thing that's very important, I actually have quite a bit of experience also with UGC content, which is user generated content, which is more sort of a female thing than it is a male thing. But one of the best things you could do is put everything that you have into Notion. So in Notion, you can build a very easy overview, and you can build a calendar there for yourself as well. So normally what I like to do is to go back to the original person, and then you would send them an email saying like, hey, listen, we did a promotion deal 3-4 weeks ago. We had a 75,000 view cap. We actually crushed it. We got these results. These are the insights. I would love to do another campaign, and I'm also working, and that's what you can do as an example. Last week of October, you can reach out to all of these people and say like, hey, listen, there's only limited slots available for Christmas period. So if you want to book a campaign, let's work on it right now. So then you can get higher CPMs because, of course, Q4, and you can get higher caps. So you might not even make 1K per video. No, now you can make 1.5 to 2.5, maybe $3,000 on a sponsor deal. You can say like, hey, listen, I want a 75 view cap. No, I want like 150,000 view cap, and instead of 12.5, I want 15. So now you're going to go from a $1,000 brand deal to a $3,000 brand deal, which is a very slight change. Of course, you have to hit that 150,000 view mark then. But if you can't, if you note down, I would do it name, email address, previous brand deal, and then outline the brand deal, and then like follow-up sequence, and then 1 check mark, 2 check mark, 3 check mark. So after the brand deal, I would give it about 3 weeks after they pay the invoice to do the follow-up. What were the results? Are you happy and satisfied? Would you like to do a new brand deal? Then if they don't respond for over a week, you send them a follow-up, and try and send follow-up always on Monday, because Monday is when every person that has a boring corporate job actually checks their email. So always send them on Monday, the quickest chance for you to get a response. Then once you've sent it on Monday, and they still don't reply, then it's unfortunate. You can follow up in 2 or 3 months, or try and reach someone else at the company. And if they reach out, or you reach out in this case, you can get another brand deal. So you can get a lot more value, and also have all of the information in a centralized place. So it's the same for me as an example. I have done, of course, my YouTube automation channels, but I also have my coaching business, but I also have my real estate business. And of course, with YouTube automation, I also have a lot of licensing deals. So I have everything combined in one platform. So I always have easy access to everything that I need. So shout out to Notion in that case. Really great tool to use. Not sponsored. Unfortunately, I should ask for a CPN sponsor in this one. But that's just some tips I can give you in regards to sponsor deals. We talked about it before, and I said like I don't have the most experience with sponsor deals, and I was like, that's actually not true, because I fixed a lot of like UGC brand deals for a lot of people. So I actually do have experience in that field, and I talked to a girl from the US that's actually making so much money from UGC content. That was also surprised, but she just had an ad that goes crazy viral, and they wanted to buy her perpetuity rights, and she got like a part of the ad spend and the profit share. So she is raking in the money right now. Absolutely insane. So I found it very interesting. I have a couple more questions that I want to say. How long did it take you when you started the coaching to get your first real result?
So I would say, considering the channel, we started from scratch because we also expanded one of the channels that I already had monetized.
Yeah.
We really grew that from what that was the channel making 1K. Now it's the one that made 4K this month. But
Nice.
so that one also grew with the help of Menow, and also actually your tips, because you already had given me tips on the kickoff call right away that I implemented. But let's talk about like the new channel. The first video went pre-viral, so that was great. But in terms of monetization, it took 3 weeks. So in 3 weeks, it was monetized, and then he had a period of making 1,000, 1.5 per month. And this month, we really worked on this final month. We worked on optimizing the topics and really tried to hit that viral video,
Yeah.
because it was a bit of my obsession. For the final calls, I would get there with men and I would be like, yeah, the videos are doing well, but I'm really looking for that viral video because the niche allows it. I have some viral videos, and we were kind of brainstorming. And towards the end of the coaching, we hit a viral video, which right now has almost 500,000 views.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, that's what really is pushing the channel right now. And so, yeah, 3 weeks to get monetized, and then a couple of months to hit that big viral video.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That's amazing to hear. And 3 weeks to monetization is pretty quick. So that's of course really good. And normally our goal is always to end between $3,000 to $5,000 a month, based on daily revenue. So if someone ends at like $170 a day mark, then we have done a great job, because that means if you would bring that into a consistent momentum, that's 5.1K in a month, which allows pretty much everyone to quit their jobs unless you have a very high paying job or you live in Los Angeles, then probably not. But if you live anywhere in Europe or you live in the US, besides California, then you would probably have the opportunity to quit your job. So how does your life now change from before? Because I imagine stuff has changed now. You're making all the money on YouTube and you've gone all in. So what are the plans right now, and how has your life changed from before the coaching to after the coaching?
Well, one big change is that now I'm totally obsessed with YouTube. Like, as I said earlier, you can choose to put your extra hours into working more and just scale up, or live the good life. Right now, I'm going for the first choice. So, in terms of my personal life, I haven't really changed much. I'm not taking the profits for myself at the moment, like obviously a little bit, but
Yeah.
most of my focus right now is reinvesting. So, I'm working a lot of hours, as many as I can within reason, like maybe 10 hours a day if I can, and so on. But really my life right now is, I would say, in a grind season, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna go as hard as I can until the end of the year, because I want to get to Q4 in the best shape possible to
Yeah.
really cut some profit there. I feel like YouTube is, all the year, but the RPM boost in Q4 is something that is worth building around,
Yep.
because you can see some crazy number if you if you look at past tweets from last year, and I think this year is going to be the same. So
Of
I want
course.
to be ready. So I'm going to be grinding it out really hard and
Yeah,
expand.
you can take my word on it. So your RPM compared from June to Q4, your RPM is going to double probably, which means you're going to be making a lot more money towards the end of the year. And then the great thing as well is what I normally do is November, I actually normally make more money than I do in December, because in December also a lot of people are offline and a lot of money is to be made with the music videos, because a lot of people put on the Christmas music or a fireplace video in the background and then start, of course, watching that for hours and hours and hours, even while they're not watching. So there's actually multiple ways of actually monetizing that as well, which we teach in the community, not here in public. And then, of course, when you go into January, normally I take the entire month of January off, because for YouTube, the RPM normally drops by half, if it's not more. So I've seen drops from 50 to almost 80%, from pretty much the 31st of December to the 1st of January. So the RPM really gets slashed quite harsh. And then normally, like January, I don't really care about the profits. I don't really care about pretty much anything. And then February, I start picking it up. And normally towards March, April, it stabilizes again to a normal rate. And that has to do with, of course, all the companies, they normally buy yearly agreements. As an example, McDonald's made a yearly agreement that they would spend 35 million on YouTube advertisement. But those contracts end December 31st. So in January, there's nothing. So, of course, they're going to renegotiate the deals and maybe catch out a million extra. So it's going to, of course, tweak every time. And if it's very profitable, but they might not spend 35 million, they might spend 55 million. And then, of course, there's more ads coming in. But, of course, that always takes time for sure when you get started in the beginning of the year. So I normally always took holidays whenever January hits. So December, always hard work. And yeah, that's pretty much it. What else I had for a question? I had another one that I forgot about. Um, has anything changed in your relationship with your friends and family? And what do they think about you doing YouTube automation now full time?
Oh, this is actually a fun one, because
Tell me.
it's definitely hard to explain, right? When you do YouTube automation, you're not even like already explaining you're a YouTuber. I imagine is is always interesting, right? If you're a
Yeah.
classic YouTuber, but you do a YouTube automation, you basically do it as a business. You have a bunch of channels and so on, and they can be the craziest thing in terms of niches. But yeah, I've definitely, of course, I've explained to my parents and my close friends. I just shown them the what I was doing, just because they were like, "What's going on?" Right? Like
Yeah.
I quit my job and now I'm making more than before, so they were kind of curious. And yeah, I think they're kind of all surprised. My parents, for example, they don't really understand what's going on very well, like how I do it and so on. They just at some point they just saw me hiring a bunch of people. I told them, yeah, I'm hiring full-time people in the Philippines, so that can definitely sound a bit peculiar. But I shown that everybody is shocked by the numbers, right? Because for most people, YouTube is such a distant thing. They're external. And so when you show them, hey, I made 1 million views on my channel here, and actually have another channel that made 500,000 this month, and so on, like people always like are kind of, it's very
Curious.
surprising to people. Yeah, it's curious and almost seems something you're not supposed to be able to do, but you just start doing at some point. And yeah, so it has an effect on people to explain it, and it's also complicated to explain, but
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah, I can imagine that. For me, it was when I was very young. I'll refer to a story of mine for a second, and that's that when I started making real money on YouTube, I was around 15 years old. And when I was 15 years old, I didn't think about my privacy. I didn't think about what I should say on the internet, what I shouldn't say on the internet. For me, it was like, oh my God, I'm making so much money with faceless videos. I was doing Minecraft compilations at the time. When I was 15, I started making more money than both my parents did combined. And then I was 15. And this was still so young. So this is 10 years ago. Back then, it wasn't normal for kids to make money online. Now you have like 11-year-old Instagram vloggers that do like a fucking agency and they pull in 100K a month. But that didn't exist 10 years ago. Um, so from the perspective, like when I said it on school, I was very stubborn and I didn't like school because for me, school felt like learning to repeat stuff and not learning on how to learn. So I didn't like school. And when my economic teacher said like, "Oh, wonder if you're not going to pay attention, you're never going to succeed in life, you're never going to make any money," I was like, "You kidding me? Like I make more than you and I'm 15." So it's like that didn't make sense. And like I don't think economic teachers should be teachers if they don't have like a huge business they used to run. Like where is your credibility? My credibility is that I made millions from YouTube. I transfer that into coaching now where I generally get more happy. So I think we had that discussion before as well. It's like what makes you truly happy? Like what is it what your heart desires? I think I said that during a group session. And like what my heart truly desires is like helping other people. And I actually had a call today. We hired a new person, Dana, amazing girl, and we said as well like at one point you can retire whenever you want to. I can retire whenever I want to. I have enough property to never have to work a day in my life again. But where am I? I'm here in the studio. So I like, genuinely like doing what I do and have the best interest for people. But of course, you always have to be hardworking. And I think everyone can take away from this call as well that you were very hardworking and to actually getting these results. How many hours were you putting in during the coaching actually? Because normally we advise people to do 1 to 2 hours a day. But of course, some people put in more hours than others. How many hours were you putting in during the coaching actually?
Yeah, definitely more than that, like 8 to 10. But again, one of my goal was really to get my value out of this coaching. And
Yeah.
actually, with the fact that there's also the community when you join, there isn't as much pressure as I felt. Like it's not like after the 3 months, the doors closed and it's see you, good luck. You actually stay in contact with pretty much you, your coach, everybody, because you're still in the community. But no, yeah, I definitely put a lot of work and I definitely got a lot of value from my coaching.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say 8 to 10 hours a day.
That's insane. That's of course not something everyone can do. It's also not necessarily to do in the beginning, but of course you want to get as much out of it, then it only makes sense. And if you have the opportunity to do what you've done, it makes 100% sense. We also had the Jiri go from 0 to 400 a day during the coaching. Myron, who went from $0 to $20,000 a month, also while working a full-time job. So of course, there's a lot of people that are also able to do it with less time. But I also agree. Whenever you invest into something, you should get as much value out of it. And it's also always what I say. And that's also what I wanted to have you on the call, is because you've joined every single week's call. You got 12 out of 12 calls. Most people don't make that, or they skip on a call, or something happens. Like there was no excuse. You always showed up. You showed up on the group session, showed up on the one-on-one calls. You're active in the community, and you see that actually pays off. And now you're able to do well YouTube full time, which, like I said, like without a face, it's so weird to say like, "Hey, I'm a YouTuber." But you never see me, and it's always like a weird thing. I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. But I feel like to anybody that might be watching this and plans to join, yeah, I would definitely recommend the calls. At least the calls are super important.
Yeah.
Like each of them each call could potentially be that thing that changes completely your trajectory because you can get so much knowledge, either the private calls with your one-to-one coach, but also the community calls because is the community is still very elite. Like you don't have hundreds of people on a call, so you have all the space to ask your questions. So it's basically it's not one-to-one, but you can get all your questions answered there as well from
Yeah.
different coaches or from you directly. So that's why I never want
Yeah.
to miss one because one call could have info that makes you do thousands of dollars. So I'm
100%.
always there.
Yeah, and I would say like you have to squeeze out as much value as possible. If you don't, you're wasting money. Why would you invest into something if you're not gonna commit? Like then I'd rather have people not commit. And it's actually really funny. Like I know a lot of coaching businesses they accept everyone. We actually don't do that. We don't accept everyone. If you don't have the money or you're not serious, it doesn't work. If we can't get you results, I'd rather not have you because you're a risk of someone that's like would talk negatively about us. But if you have a good experience, then of course it makes it a lot easier and it works in well any benefit. Like I can be completely honest and transparent in that. How does it work? Well, I get a good review from you. You have results shared in the Discord. We now have this call as an example. So like helping someone and actually going that one step beyond brings a lot of value. And I also think like the group sessions are so important for sure in regards to AI because AI changes so fast that I'm not always in this beautiful studio here in Dubai, that I can't always film every single update because technically speaking, like almost every single day a new tool comes out these days. Like I can't make a video about a tool that I've just known for 24 hours and tell you if it's good or bad. No, we need experience, we need to test it, we need to implement it, and then we make a video about it. So the group sessions actually allow you to skip all of that process because it doesn't have to look nice. It can just be you, me on a call being like, hey, this tool's pretty cool. I think it could be useful for your business. Have a look at it. And it's like, I take no responsibility in it. But this is what we're using. As an example, we use a lot of Minimax now. Why? Well, it's 1/3 of the price of 11 Labs. It's 9/10 of the quality. So you can actually save a lot of money. We went from spending $2,000 a month in 11 Labs to now spending about $500 a month in 11 Labs. So we could get it a lot lower. And then for the quiz channels and some of the other more profitable brands, we still use 11 Labs. We don't want to change the voice. But for all the new channels, we only use Minimax because we almost get similar results with it. So it's always those small little tips that are very helpful. And then I also want to ask you, because we have about 3 more minutes left here, and that would be, what would be your 3 tips you would give to anyone that would want to start faceless YouTube automation?
So to start faceless YouTube in general, I would say the first one is something that I learned at my expenses and during these months is that whenever you publish a video, at least in my opinion, you need or every video that you strategize needs to be a potential viral video or a potential killer video, at least regarding to your niche. I had a period on one of my channels where I would do videos that were just okay, and that really backfired because if a video's max potential is being okay, it can easily just be a flop. If the video
Yep.
max potential is being a killer viral video, it could be that, or it could be just okay, but it's very unlikely that it's a flop. And if it's a flop, there is something to learn because something went very wrong. So that was really something that I learned on my kind of on my skin.
Yeah.
So that would be one. The other is definitely rely on the team. Doing your videos yourself can be nice to learn the process. And actually, in my case, it really paid off because I now know the process for my format and I can teach it to everybody that I hire. But team and hiring is what makes the automation in YouTube automation. If you do it
Yep.
solo, you're gonna be eaten by the competition because you have no
Yeah.
idea if you have no idea how some people even just in the community how many channels they have and how many videos they make
Yeah.
with a team. And I would say the third one is go hard. At least this is from my personal experience. Really commit because this business model can be extremely rewarding. But at least at first, I think there needs to be a period where you go hard on it, and then you can really kick back and have your team do the work for you. Just at first, when you need to find a niche and you
Yeah.
need to establish the channel, being aggressive is like you're competing with people out there, right? So I think you need to be ready to go hard at least at first. That's what I recommend.
Yeah, that's some fantastic tips. I really like one and two as well. Like indeed, ideation is very important. We also did a call with Leroy and with Leander. They're very much ideation experts. They focus more on the packaging and the ideation than on the niche research and finding something which might be more profitable. So they all have their own talents. Leander really much works with faceless YouTubers, and then of course you have Leroy, which works with like more of the branded people. So that's of course very interesting, and we sort of do both as well. And ideation, of course, very important. So if you go for a video that you think is okay, is this probably going to be a flop? And if you think, hey, this video is actually like the concept is great, the packaging is great. As an example, recently I saw a video of I Show Speed and then all his running contestants, which was like he's known for I Show Speed, that he's very fast. And nobody made a video about him going up to all these famous people in like sort of the streamer packaging niche. And that video did 1.8 million views in a week. And it then resulted into over a 5-figure payment within 7 days, which is absolutely mind-blowing. That's why packaging and thinking of the ideation is so important. I actually have a channel open right now that I wanted to make a video about for Twitter. Let me see if I can find it. I cannot. Let me be here. Also not. I have one video which I found so interesting to see. A channel called Veal or Vile. I don't know how to say it. It has 4.1k subscribers right now. I'm going to review it. And it has like very interesting packaging. And they've uploaded 7 videos so far. And out of 7 videos, they got 4,000 subscribers and 800,000 views. That means that the average is already over 100,000 views per video. And they started June 12th. Well, technically speaking, it's an age channel. It's 2 years old. They started 3 weeks ago. 4 weeks ago. So within 1 month, they already made enough, well, money, if it's a $6 RPM, about 5-6K a month on a brand new channel. But their packaging is so interesting. The sidemen are way richer than you think. How Justin Bieber's $200 million deal destroyed his life. So very interesting videos here. XQC is secretly richer than any influencer in. Like very interesting topics. And I've watched every single video. The packaging is amazing. The explanation is amazing, is well researched. And then, of course, you're going to hit those viral videos. And that's, of course, very important in order to get success. So I really like tip number 1. Also number 2. Number 3 as well. But 1 and 2 I found very strong. And number 1 is actually something I haven't heard before. People say, or students say that on these calls. So, I want to thank you very much for coming on this quick little interview. I'm very happy we got you some amazing results. And who knows, in 3 or 6 months, we can have another call and we can increase that number on the thumbnail. And it might be 30, 40, 50 grand. Who knows?
Definitely. I'll be working hard for that. Then we'll see how it goes. But
100%. And
on my
also
end, we'll
once
do it.
Yeah, and also once again, I want to give my compliments for you to really put in the work in order to get the results. You've done a fantastic job, and I not only consider you a student, but also a friend that I can speak to. Just because you joined everywhere, you're always happy, always intriguing, always asking questions, and it just feels like fun for me. So just wanted to say personally thank you as well for working together. I've generally enjoyed it. So can definitely not say that about every student, but in this case for you, I can definitely say I really enjoyed it. And if you need any help, let me know. And also what you said, I want to quickly jump back to that one for the last second, is that even if the coaching is finished, we don't want to leave you alone. We want to sometimes check in with you, like, hey, how is it going? Is the result still the same? Like, where are you struggling? And of course, you always have the Discord community to go to. We have also a Discord community manager. So that's very important. And I see that my time is up here. I want to thank everyone for watching. If you're interested in joining, you can actually go ahead and book a call with the link down below. And you can just speak to one of our advisors. We'll check out what your current situation is, what we can do in order to help you, and of course always make a custom plan in order to what you need, so you can actually also get the most out of the coaching. So if you have a low budget and you want to do AI videos, that's possible. If you have a higher budget and you want to do more quality videos like Emanuele has done, where you're building very evergreen assets for a long time, you can do that as well. And that's why it's so important to go ahead and book that call with the link down below. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you soon as well in the community. And both me and Emanuele would like to say welcome then. And once again, thank you so much, and I wish you a beautiful day.
Thank you. Same to you. Bye, Warren.
Perfect.